So the Traveling Microbiologist is an online project for microbiology students that can be done during online microbiology instructions or in class instructions as well. And it's really one of my favorite projects. You can see me here on a life-size tardigrade at the Museum of Microbia in Amsterdam, which is the only microbiology museum in the world so far. All right, how did it all get started? So when I've been from Europe, I'm from Germany, and UNESCO World Heritage Site is sort of the thing when you talk about it. It means they are the most important cultural and biological sites in the world that define our culture, our humanity, and who we are, what we've done, and what we have left behind. So these sites are protected. And the UNESCO World Heritage Site has many, right now, almost 1,000 properties, biological, cultural, and other sites that are of cultural, natural heritage importance. So go to the site and check it out. And there are lots of different places. You have maps where you can travel to of all these UNESCO sites all over the world. We've got one in Florida, which is the Everglades, and again, lots of other sites. However, I've been looking into what other important sites are there. I found a marine world heritage sites where there's about turtles, about dolphins, about other things, marine life and so on, which is absolutely amazing. But what I have found, although there's microbiology is so important in the world, and there's 7 wonders of microbiology world and other things, is there's no microbiology related World Heritage Sites. Not directly. Indirectly they are, but directly they don't mention it. So when I became aware of these things, I started thinking about teaching a class, of teaching my students how to be aware of the real global importance of microbes, microbiology, and also our own behavior as it pertains to our world cultural heritage sites. And I created a class called Microbes Without Borders, which is the global microbial challenge and microscopic treasures of the world. They haven't officially been recognized by the UNESCO, but maybe one day I'm hopeful that microbiology will be recognized as a World Heritage Site. I'll tell you why. So all over the world, there's so many topics that pertain to microbiology, whether it's astrobiology, food problems, art degradation, antimicrobial resistance. So many problems, and also so many places where microbiology has happened and originated. So how come that there's no UNESCO World Heritage Sites that directly relate to microbiology? When I travel, I see microbes everywhere. So I set out on a quest, and I wanted to share this with my students. Because when I travel, I get really excited, and I want to share this ubiquity of microbiology in the world with you. Even during the COVID pandemic, we can do this online because there's so many great resources available. Right, when I travel, I see microbiology. It doesn't matter whether I'm at home, in my home state of Bavaria, Germany, where beer is brewed with yeast, where pretzels are made with yeast, some sausages are cured, and sauerkraut is fermented. When I travel, when I went to Japan, I saw some fermentation everywhere. At the market, I saw a lot of baths, lots of areas with lots of different fermentation products. I saw fermented soybeans, and I saw lots of different products, soy sauce, miso, tempeh, and also some other products that are all based on microbial fermentation. Fermented foods are all over the world. Every single country has their own unique types. When I went to Hungary, Budapest, you see lots of fermented milk products, from yogurt to cheeses to kefir. In Kathmandu, Nepal, they had a different stand for different yogurts. And you can just buy different sizes and different amounts of yogurt, which they use commonly for rice and dal. In Hawaii, they make poi, which is made from a root and is beaten and then fermented, and it's a very unique flavored taste of a fermented product. Lots of places in the world you can see it, a variety of different cheeses. And when I went to the Amsterdam market in the Netherlands, you could see all these different types of varieties of cheeses, all made with different varieties of microbes. But it's not just the food, it's environment as well. So I go out for a walk and I see different lichens and mosses. When I went to the Plitvice Lakes in Croatia on the top right, a lot of these structures are actually made by microbes. Mono Lake in Nevada, these structures are created with a part of microbial activity, with their fermentation, with their products, with their degradation products. So it's really incredible how our environment is shaped by microbiology. I go on a nature walk, I see lichens, fungi, and on the bottom right, it's a dog vomit slime mold, which is a unicellular organism, but it's very coordinated. They communicate with each other. So it's really, really cool to see all these things. You don't have to go very far. You don't have to travel around the world. But it is really cool to see microbiology all around you. Another aspect is medicinal plants. So when I went to Nepal, there's lots of areas where people sell different plants, herbs, spices, most of them with medicinal properties. On the right side, you can see my mother's hand, my mother-in-law's hand, who is preparing a mixture of spices for medicinal teas. And at the bottom, there are different herbs and spices that can even be grown in Florida. And so again, medicinal properties for antimicrobial health effects are a part of my traveling. You can trace the history of microbiology. When I went to Budapest, I went to the Semmelweis Museum because he was a father of childbirth fever. He said, "Wash your hands." And the doctors didn't believe him. He said, "Wash your hands before you help women giving birth." And the other doctors didn't believe him. So that was Semmelweis. The museum is in Budapest, and his statue here on the left is actually at the University of Vienna, where he worked as well. Lots of museums where you can go and visit the history of microbiology. But again, it's really important to connect the history with the presence. So Van Beering, he was the first microbiologist in 1901 who received the Nobel Prize. That's when it started. And he still has an impact on science today. The Pasteur Museum in Paris, you can see the original flasks and tubes where Pasteur proved that microbes actually cause diseases. And these are the first pictures of pathogens that prove that Streptococcus, Staphylococcus in this case, cause disease. And in the History of Science Museum in Oxford, there's lots of different types of microscope, but also penicillin was first isolated in Oxford. It was shown to be effective in London, but then first isolated in Oxford by Florey, and that is also visible at the History of Science Museum in Oxford. So lots of cool places to visit. And then, not just for my own travels, but traveling with students. My study abroad project, or my study abroad program, we actually go to places like on the top left, it's a statue of Bunsen. If you're a microbiologist, you know what a Bunsen burner is. And there's a person who actually invented this. So Dr. Bunsen invented the Bunsen burner, and there's a statue in Heidelberg. At the bottom left, we went to the World Health Organizations, global organizations that really makes a difference in humanity's health globally all over the world. And we were very, very fortunate that we went to the UNESCO headquarters in Paris and got a tour of their amazing organization and all the activities they do. So taking students as a part of my travels is really important to me as well. So this project can be done in many different ways. So there are different topics that can be emphasized. So for example, you can see what UNESCO sites are manipulated by microbes. So you can see, look at the microbial activity in the different UNESCO sites, which I did this project recently in my class, and I got some amazing, absolutely amazing cultural feedbacks or write-ups from my students. You can also do a foodie microbiologist. What are the different microbes in different fermented foods all over the world? Pick a country, pick an organism, and then do this project. There's many ways where you can connect the history, the presence, and the future of microbiological breakthroughs. And write that up as a part of this project. A scavenger hunt where you can find traces of microbial presence in your own ecosystem. You go out and look at fungi, mold, all sorts of different things, lichens that are just there all the time, and you may not even know that they're there. And you can keep your own microbe diary. How much microbial influence can you detect in 24 hours in and on you, in your own life, in your own home? Everything from brushing your teeth in the morning to get rid of your plaque, to washing your hands to get rid of the potential pathogens, to fermenting foods, to eating yogurt. There's so many different ways of how your 24 hours is affected by microbes. There are lots of different ways you can do this project as an assignment. All right, let's do one example. Let's see how microbiology is connected to UNESCO sites, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And you can see these pictures. It's my family here at the Newspaper Rock in Utah. And there are a lot of petroglyphs. And petroglyphs are actually carved into a microbial community that allows petroglyphs to show up as lighter colored compared to the patina that was created by the microbes. On the right side, there's microbial communities in the soil that also is really important in this area. All right, let's see how we can explore that. So my assignment in my class recently was microbial ecology and our environment, where students had to explore UNESCO sites that are manipulated by microbes. And the assignment is fairly straightforward. It's a one-page summary where they explain the importance of the UNESCO site, the biology behind the importance of the microbes. They have to understand what the microbes scientifically actually do. They have to find a peer-reviewed paper and a location where you can actually visit the place. They find out if there's any documentaries or videos and see if there's other sites around the world with similar features. If they have visited the place, they can post their own pictures, and I really want to sort of make them think about what did they learn from that exercise. So I have them write a brief reflection on what they have learned from this activity. And here's an example. So our sample project is Yellowstone National Park, where we explore extremophiles. And this was a write-up by a student where she looked at all the different places where we could go, the organisms. She found out that Yellowstone was the first national park in the world, which was declared in 1872. And also another unique thing about Yellowstone was that Thermus aquaticus, the organism that is now used in PCR, the enzyme polymerase that is used in PCR, was also isolated from Yellowstone. So there are a lot of activities, lots of research papers, still, people doing research every day, even now today, on Yellowstone and all the different microbes. And if you go there, you can actually see all the different colors of Yellowstone are caused by different microbes. And there's actually a dial from the University of Montana that shows you, what are the different microbes, what do you encounter, the different colors, what microbes are there. So it's really good to do your homework and research when you do some of these adventures. So I recently went to Yellowstone as well, and I love this place, one of my favorite places. This is my husband looking at Old Faithful. And these are some other pictures of some of these colors, microbes, really incredible microbial communities that you can observe there. And my student who did this project said that it was really incredible for her to actually connect microbiology with her everyday life, which is quite unusual. People don't think about that. We as microbiology may, but the average student, everyday person, really doesn't think how much microbes affects the environment and our everyday life. And so it's really great to see how once they have the opportunity to connect the pieces, that this is a great assignment. You can modify this assignment, so UNESCO is just one of the different opportunities. You can do the foodie microbiologist. What are different countries in the world where different food fermentation products are produced. You can connect the history, presence, and future of microbiology and make that as a project. There's scavenger hunts where you can find microbial traces around you in your environment. Or you do a microbe diary where you can find microbial influence in your 24-hour day in and around you, which includes everything from brushing your teeth to going to the bathroom. So let me know if you have any questions. I think it's a really fun activity for students that can be done online. There's a lot of exploration, a lot of opportunities, lots of resources out there, and I'm happy to guide you more in the right direction. I hope you students enjoy this activity. I talk to you later.